Hey people, we're talking about pipe here. We're talking about pipelines. We're talking about the thing that matters in every single recruitment business, no matter what it is that you do. Whatever marketplace that you follow, whatever geographies you target, whatever flavour of recruitment you're involved with. Pipe is life. And because pipe is life, it's really important that you pay attention to the quality of the pipe that you are driving and the level of friction that exists in your pipeline, because when things get stuck and you get sales constipation, results become inconsistent. And there are plenty of people out there today who find that their results are a little bit up and down, predominantly because they're not paying enough attention to the pipelines that they're generating. Inside a recruitment agency, there are 3 pipes. Pipe number 1, that's new business. This is everything that we're doing to be able to find new instructions, land new logos. Pipe number 2 is the conversion of instructions to placements, whether that is temp or perm. A client says, we would like your help, here is a booking, we would like your help, here is a vacancy. We onboard that piece of work, we make a commitment to client, commitment to self. I intend to turn this into a placement, and off and away we go. That is the second pipe. Third pipe is those clients that we land that successfully become customers. And for the record, my definition of a customer is someone who has paid me and listens to my advice. So the people who become customers, the contacts inside the organizations that we've traded with, pipe number 3 is how we nurture and develop those relationships so that we build our future cash cows. How we proactively go about developing an account rather than reactively sitting back and having decided that now that they're a customer, they'll give me all of the work. And there are even people out there today whose job is account manager, who do no account management. They just take instructions. They say yes a lot to clients who give them work. They do very little to investigate anything beyond the buying managers who are giving them that work. So shame on you, account managers who are simply glorified order takers. Step up, build your pipe. So everyone in recruitment is contributing to a minimum of one of those 3 pipes. The pipe which appears to be getting the greatest amount of attention at the moment is pipe number 1, new business. People want new clients. It seems as though existing customers may not be hiring in the same level of abundance as they have in the past. So new logo acquisition is really important. Please do not neglect pipe number 3 because of your fixation on pipe number 1. And in fact, there are plenty of recruitment businesses out there who really don't need to drive pipe number 1 because pipe number 2 is letting them down. If you're filling less than 30% of the jobs that you work on, you don't need more customers. You don't need more jobs. You need to get better at filling the ones that you are already landing. Otherwise, you're just scaling your failure, not scaling your customer base. Make sense? So take a moment. Review all 3 pipes in your business. Which of those pipes needs the greatest amount of attention? Which of those pipes with some attention would require the least amount of skill or time or calories to improve? Because ultimately we're trying to influence profitability here. And there may be an element of vanity of going out and winning new customers, but there is a shade of embarrassment if we only fill 1 in 4 of their jobs, right? So do some analysis on your 3 pipes. Look at your existing customer base, those that you have invoiced in the last 12 months. How much of those accounts actually grown? How many points of contact have you identified in each of those businesses? How many of those points of contact have you had meetings with? How many of those points of contact have you encouraged to give you work? And with what level of consistency? Look at pipe number 2. Look at your incoming job flow. What is your conversion rates? Where are the bottlenecks? Where are your actual strengths in your process management that you can start to capitalize on to be able to share with new business clients to highlight work with us because? And then have a look at pipe number 1. How many new logos have you landed in the last 90 days? With what level of consistency? With what level of abundance across your team and across the different types of recruitment that you do? Then pick a pipe. And then when you've picked a pipe, start to reflect on the process that is required from something going in at the beginning of the pipe for it to then come out the other end as a successful outcome. There will always be attrition in pipes. If we take pipe number one, I would say for probably half, if not 3/4 of you, is probably the pipe that you would naturally think you need more assistance with, winning more customers. Look at the beginning of the pipe. Even before we talk about the activity of sales, before we think about the engagement that takes place between you and a prospect, who do you actually want to win business from? Your market might have like 10,000 potential organizations you could trade with. And that's me being conservative. If you've got 10,000 organizations that you could trade with, you can't work with them all, right? And I know you would love to. The reality is you won't be able to. Because some of them won't want to work with you, right? And some of them you'll discover you don't want to work with them. So if we start to rationalize down the beginning of the pipe, the first step is to have absolute clarity on what is the business that you want to win. Who is your ideal client? And be gritty, be granular, be ruthless with describing your ideal client. Because the moment you start to describe your ideal client, you now have a benchmark to review every prospect. A qualified prospect. Note, qualified prospect. Not prospect, qualified prospect. A qualified prospect is one that you have qualified against your definition of your ICP. How close a proximity is it to the ideal client that you know that you can wow, that you know that you can deliver to, that you know you can keep long term? If you don't have clarity on your ICP, then everyone is a prospect. And no one gets qualified. And you just end up hanging around, having conversations with prospects, hoping that they'll give you business because you are nice to talk to and a likable kind of individual, and they're going to have to spend their money with some form of agency, so you are playing the people buy from people bullshit card that isn't actually true, and you prove to yourself it's not actually true because you keep on having conversations with people that seem to be nice, warm and sincere conversations, but they never spend any money with you because they don't know what you do. And they don't know what you do because you don't know what you do. And I know you think you know what you do because you'll tell me, well, I do know what I do, Jeremy. I specialise in filling jobs for IT people, particularly developers. I'm not sure that that's really what you do. What you do, what you truly do, is generate outcomes for customers. And your real skill set is being able to generate specific outcomes for a specific profile of customer. And that specific profile of customer is your ICP. And that specific outcome that you generate for them is the solution to the most common problem that your ICP suffer from. So no, I don't think you really know what you do. I don't think you know what you're selling. And I don't know that you know who you're selling it to and why they would buy it. And that's your biggest challenge. So you've decided that you specialize in placing developers in fintechs, but you haven't really thought about what profile of fintech and why that profile of fintech and what are going to be the most natural common challenges that they are all having, where they are consistently having meetings to talk about that problem, and how do I turn up to show that I am the solution? Define your ICP. Define the personas of the buyers that sit inside that ICP. Define your product as a product which is designed to fix a suite of problems, the problems that are most consistently suffered by your ICP. And then develop a communication process that becomes a campaign, that as I bring in those individuals that look like my personas of contact in the ICPs that I know that I can serve, I now have a comms plan so that over the process of 5, 7, 9 steps, I am increasing their level of understanding and buy-in to who I am, what I do, and how I can help. And yes, there is an element of be a nice guy, be likable, but really that's don't be a dick. We're not going out to win friends, we're going out to win business. And the sooner you understand that, the better. Because friendship is a different type of relationship compared to business value. We are building business value orientated relationships with human beings that may develop into friendships over time. The people buy from people thing has been misconstrued, misunderstood, misrepresented, and there are now businesses that are failing, consultants who are failing because they've got too hung up in the interlink between people buy from people and it's all about relationships, which now means that pseudo friendship seems to be on the agenda far more than demonstrable value from a business perspective. And there are now people who worry. They worry about being what they would describe as being pushy. Pushy in terms of like challenging a client to the decisions that they're making. Pushy in terms of being able to revisit decisions that have been made about not wanting to see a candidate, or not being interested in a meeting, or deciding we don't need your help because we're advertising. And all of these fears around the pushiness, all of these fears around breaking the relationship, like this idea, I don't want to damage the relationship. Dude, you have no relationship. They just fobbed you off. What foundations do you feel being fobbed off is to a relationship long term? Let's stop going out there with this entire facade about being nice, being likable. Don't be a dick. Be useful. Be valuable. Show up. And when you show up with value, when you show up and you are willing to challenge decisions that people are making to show you've got their best interest at heart, that's not pushy. That's consultative. And it is consultative when you point the right messages in the right direction to the right prospects that look like your ICP. It requires an element of sophistication. You don't want to come across as being a cock, but at the same time, you need to make sure that you are standing up for what you believe in. You need your own moral compass that helps you to drive your business forward, to help organizations and decision makers achieve their goals and their objectives. So as you think about your pipe, 10,000 potential companies in your market, some are in that. There's probably 600 that are your ICP. 9,400, no. These 600, yes. I did some work with some medical recruiters. We took 5,000 organizations that were their audience because of product and because of sector and because of footprint, right? 5,000 companies to be doing sales activity for a business of 3 people is way too many. We defined granularly the ICP. We used Clay to enrich the profiles of all of these businesses and to then use the AI Clay agent in Clay to review the websites and the activities of these businesses online to be able to give a percentage match to the ICP. And anything that scored 80% and above, we then enriched it further to be able to identify all of the decision makers, their contact details, etc., so that we had a refined database of the audience that was the target audience. Few recruitment business owners are doing that work on behalf of their team. They're leaving the team to get on with it, right? You know what your desk is, you know what you specialise in, go for it, go win some business. Report back every month how many jobs you got, how many CVs you sent out, how many interviews you arranged, and how many accounts you opened. But just go for it. Little to no training exists inside those businesses on how to define an ICP. So the pipe already is going to be suffering at the very beginning. Constipation at the start. There is more emphasis in the training in-house and even with my external L&D compadres who get fixated on training objection handling. Having to train objection handling is far more an admission that we're likely to be talking to the wrong people at the wrong time with the wrong message. It becomes like the antithesis as to what selling is. We should be calling the right people in the right businesses at the right time with the right message. ICP, personas, messaging, products, solutions to problems. And as we nurture this pipe, one should see more content moving further through the pipeline. And that pipeline gets nurtured, that pipeline gets attention. If 80% of my attention went into 20% of the organizations in my market, I would achieve more. And unfortunately, with the continued promotion over the last few years of automated software designed for the recruitment industry, like grab a load of contacts from LinkedIn, scrape their email addresses, bang them into this system, send them an email, and don't worry, it won't look like spam because we'll create these personalizations so that we name drop the company they work at and maybe use their first name a couple of times through the message, and perhaps refer to the sector that they're in. Like, we'll show them that we've really paid attention. All of this fake personalization, all of this automation process is pretty much killing the outreach market for those businesses, because they have no vision as to what their ICP is. They have no vision as to who the persona is. They have no vision to really think about how do we create the right messaging that stops this fake friendship attempt with over-personalization. Like sending somebody a message saying, hey, I saw you really like cats. I like cats. Hey, do you want to recruit some developers? What? Context. Context is what it takes. Context comes from fluent understanding of your target audience, their problems, and the context with which your solution works. Let's go out and find people that have the right intent, that are demonstrating that they are prime for our offering because they are so close a match to our ideal client. Now we'll start to win business. Maybe if we became a little more fixated on the context of our messaging rather than the personalization of our messaging, maybe if we became a little bit more fixated with the quality of our messaging rather than the quantity of our messaging, we'd get better results. And I know that this is true. This is what I help people to do. Recruitment business owners to build more meaningful sales strategies, recruitment consultants at desk being able to bring to life a sales strategy with meaningful tactics that generate outcomes. The whole essence of the pipeline masterclasses that I run through the year, they're open forum, right? Anyone can join. You just have to give me some money. And you give me a little bit of money, and then over a 4-week period, I give you a lot of return on your investment, because what I give you is structure and process and tools to help you to be able to refine and define exactly who your audience is. And then together we do all of the outreach process to build meaningful contextual interactions that engage rather than repel. And we do that across multimedia. We love the phone. We love video. We love voice notes. We love email. We love LinkedIn. We love the post. We love a good PDF. We like a really nice LinkedIn update. All of these things combine together to create the fabric of an outreach campaign process that moves people through pipelines better, with less friction. It helps you to get more meetings. It helps you to be able to win better quality work. It helps you to achieve your objectives because you are finally aligning yourself with helping your prospects to achieve theirs. So people, if you feel as though you have a little bit of constipation in your pipeline, if you feel that there is an opportunity to get things to move forward with a little bit more speed, if you feel mildly offended at the fact that I don't believe that people buy from people, if you're curious to find out what actually works because you've started to realize that aligning with people from a friendship perspective and this concept of building relationships just doesn't seem to be working, it's not the relationship focus that is the issue, it's the type of relationship that you're building. Be valuable, be useful is a far better mantra. And even in this world where we seem to be getting fatigued by technology and fatigued by automation, the humanness is really important. You still need to turn up and be a valuable human. And being a valuable human in a business-to-business context is the simple answer to the question, what's in it for me? And it needs to be more than hanging around with someone else who likes pineapple on their pizza. It needs to revolve around more than somebody who likes to walk their dog in the woods. Those things add some authenticity. They don't win business. They open the door to give you the opportunity to have the conversation. They might be great at the beginning of the pipe. They ain't going to help things to keep moving through the pipe. Get it? So look, if you want to check out the Pipeline Masterclass, you're more than welcome to. The whole process that we go through builds week by week, so that by the time we get to the second week, you will be booking meetings, and by the time we get to the end of the program, you'll be winning business from the profiles of organizations that become your keepers. So I'll leave it with you. If you've got any questions, you know where to find me. Love to hear your thoughts on this, particularly my anti-people buy from people thought process, because I seem to be in part of the 1% who are on that bus. But also I think it's true. See you on another episode soon.